Said I made up my mind this time. I'm taking it over. Modest tranquility. Said I made up my mind this time. I'm taking it over.
Faced the beast, I felt its claws, I've seen its feast. It whispers lies, it feeds on fear, but I stand strong, the path is clear. The shadows crawl, the weak may fall, deception spreads to choke us all. I won't be fooled, I won't comply, I raise my voice, I will not die. Rise from the ashes, break every chain. Truth is our weapon, fury our flame. Stronger than what we've seen. I've beaten the base, I face the night. Now who stands with me to claim the fight? night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Well, I wonder if you're ready for some unindoctrination. Because ready or not, here it comes. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, who 20 years of full-time pastor, evangelist, Assemblies of God, some other great groups, and 5 years as an independent with the Association of Seventh-day Pentecostal Assemblies. Yes, a very varied background, over 100,000 hours of study in the Hebrew and Greek texts. And here we are giving you some ideas that you can consider on control systems and maybe sorry, little nicotine reaction here. I use the lozengers. Maybe you'll get some new things to consider. I hope that you will take the opportunity to think, and that's what we're here for. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm just here to try to encourage you to think and to bring you information that you may not have had access to yourselves, and give you something, well, maybe a little something more to think about. So let's see how it goes. Are you ready? Sorry you didn't get a notification, Philby. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy the way they do it. But I would like to say hello to the people that are here in appreciation. And these are the people on YouTube. These are the only ones that I can see with this particular broadcast system I'm using. Jama's here. Terrell's here. Kirsten is here. Jama's here. Carmen is here from Australia. We've got Scuba Maru. Kylie Dugan, great to see her. Rooney just jumped down, so I got little cat issues. We also have Og66. Beard of Dagger is here as well. Always great to see him. And we've got, who else? Her Majesty in the house. As always, Jay Bing, Matthew Garvin. Garmin or Garvin? Let me go back. Garvin, my bad. Traces of Life. Great to see you all. Super Galactic. He's responsible for the Stand With Me tune. He did a great job. Colleen Shermer, a regular contributor to these D programs. I don't know about this one. Auden, yes, it's starting. Lost in Time. Who's ready to be covered in the blood of Jesus? Thinking that's probably a joke. We'll see. Philby is in the house. And we've got Kirsten. spirit of... Did I do that speaking in tongues nonsense? Absolutely I did. Every day of my life. So that's a little bit about me. But this is really all about you. And in all the time that I studied the Bible, down to the original languages, I went through Genesis 1:1 and 1:2 very extensively, but I did not really go super in depth beyond that until I sat down and began to prepare for this D program. And a lot of other people do programs. We do D programs here. And we do mean that literally. I don't, even though people claim it and I appreciate it, that I helped them turn around, I woke them up. We know the reality is that we wake ourselves up. And if I can be some small part of you waking up, well, that's what I'm here for. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I think it's going to be fascinating. I think you're going to enjoy it. And I think if you're not careful, you just might learn something out. And yes, I will do a video on how ancestral gods empower us. What I'm going to do, we're going to keep it kind of, I don't want to say PG-13, but we keep it a little bit. Hello, Lady Rebel. I love all my rebels, ladies, men, and those of you that may be in between, little and sure. You're all welcome. But what was I saying? I forgot. But anyway, we'll get back to it. So let me ask you some questions tonight. What if Genesis 1 is not so much about the creation of the world, as we've all long believed? What if Genesis 1 is not about creation? And no, we can't start with Dead Wolf. That's why I was hesitating and, filling time, because it's not a show until we've got at least one dead wolf in the audience. It's rated NC-17. That's where I was going, Kylie. Thank you. I'm going to do, and haven't done it yet with any consistency, and that's, I've been doing a self-inventory, and one of my weaknesses is that I'm not big on planning, and I have been struggling with procrastination. But those days are behind me. I'm moving on. I'm moving up. So, yeah, we're going to keep going. But what if Genesis isn't about creation, but what if it is rather about perception? What if it's the original reset? What if it's the original deframe and reframe? And as always, I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm just going to give you some information for you to consider that perhaps you haven't seen before. Because most people read Genesis 1, but almost no one sees it. Almost no one sees it. And it's just really, really intriguing to me. What if Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 and 2, the very first two verses of the biblical scripture, what if it's really the great deframe and the great reframe? I'm going to show you Genesis 1 through 2 on the screen. We're going to go through it in some pretty exacting detail. We're going to talk about God. What does that mean? What does created mean? We'll talk about the heavens and the earth. We'll talk about the first reframe. We'll talk about eretz. What does that mean? We'll talk about a lot of things tonight, and hopefully give you some new things to consider. So I use Bible Hub when I study. I am not employed by Bible Hub. They don't pay me anything. There's no, let me just log in here so we won't get any ads. There's no affiliate thing involved. And in fact, I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell them that I was using Bible Hub, because they'd probably cut me off. They'd probably cut my access off. I'm almost sure of it. But that's what I use, and I use it because it's easy. And let me give you a look at what we're doing here. I'm going to switch my frame here so you can see it. This is Bible Hub. You simply enter in the Bible, and it's not interpretation. All I'm doing is giving you the exact transliteration from the original languages into English. So let's just jump right in. We're going to start at Genesis 1:1. If we're going to start, we might as well start at the beginning, right? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved on the face of the waters. We think we know what this means, but do we? If you click on the hyperlink here, it'll take you to a more literal translation of the scriptures, but more importantly, as you see this here, it's all hyperlinked, so you could go to each word individually, but I do it the easy way. I go to interlinear. And what that shows us is the Greek directly transliterated, or excuse me, in this case the Hebrew in the Old Testament, directly transliterated, not interpreted, but just this is what the Hebrew word means, this is what the English word means. So let's just go ahead and break this down, because if we click on this, this will show us the exact word. It's reshith. Almost like reshift, isn't it? It's very weird. So this is in the beginning, at the very first, in the choice part, or you might even say the best part. Is this the best part? It's the beginning. It's the same as Rosh, as in Rosh Hashanah. And see, it's the head, it's the top. And we want to be the head and not the tail. So in the very beginning, at the beginning of the kingdom, if you will, as we go down through Bible Hub, the first fruits, the first, the chief, you might even say the original. So in the beginning, we're talking about a beginning that I have to believe, and you can believe what you want, I have to believe that it was much, much longer than 6,000 years ago. So in this beginning, something was created. And if we click on 1254, we see that it was created, it was shaped, and it was formed. It was actually put together. And this means to create from non-existing material. So this is actually a real creation. Once you get past Genesis 1, and once you get later in Genesis 1, the word becomes a different word, which means to refashion with already existing material. So in the beginning, a creation was made, and it was made by God. Well, what's God? Who's God? Well, we've been taught what that means, and loosely referenced, it's like a guy with gray hair and a beard. I'm certainly not against guys with gray hair and beards, but we think of it as a singular entity. In fact, I think that most Christians would insist that it's just one God. But what does the word actually mean? Do you believe words mean things? I do. So if we click on this, 430, it's the word Elohim. And what does the word Elohim mean? It means God, divine beings, or judges. So it really means gods, goddesses, great. What if it's not what we think it is? Because if you go down here and look, the word, the essence of this word is plural. And if we believe, as we've been taught, that there's only one God, then why is the Bible talking about plural? And the God, or the gods, or the goddesses, they're the ones that created. And as I think about it, if a God is almighty, if a God is the Most High, why would they create something broke, busted? Why would they have a chopped creation? I just learned that word on my trip to Virginia. I love that word, chopped. As we're going to see, this creation's chopped. And it always created a question in my mind, got me in trouble in Bible college, got me in trouble in churches. How could a perfect God create a chopped world? Dark, flooded, wrecked, chopped. How could that be? How could that be? So the gods created, they created the heavens. Well, what are the heavens? It's the Shamayim. What is the heavens? Well, it's the heavens, the sky, the highest realms, the heaven and the highest. It's the sky as aloft. It really is a word that talks more about what we can see, where the stars are. So it doesn't necessarily mean what we think it means. But these gods, they created the heavens and they created the earth. I want you to notice something about this word earth. As you can see, it's the word eretz. Some of you that will spark something in you because you're students, you're scholars. It means the earth. It means the land. It means the ground. It means the country. It means the territory. I don't think God loves anyone, says Bagel Hate. Isn't that interesting? Because you would look, if you are a student of the Old Testament and much of the New Testament, and if you're a believer in the concept of eternal punishment, which is almost requisite within the Christian realm, it's hard to believe that love would be included in such a place. And James says it was trial and error. And I'm just saying, why would the Most High, the most powerful being, have to use trial and error? And what if the Bible itself shows that he didn't use trial and error? And this word eretz is really interesting because there's a concept that if you listen, you will hear eretz Israel. And the people that wrote this Old Testament, and at least 65 of the 66 books, eretz Israel, they kind of want it to seem like it's all theirs. That, to me, creates a little bit of a problem. So God, the Most High, created the heavens and the earth. And then if I hit this 2, I get verse number 2. And the earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. How can that be? If it's really a Most High God who created it, why would he create such a chopped creation? That bothers me, folks. I can't wrap my head around that. It makes me ask questions. And it makes me question the answers that I've been fed. But as I studied, I began to look at this little word was. And many times we forget the little words. You've heard the devil's in the details. Well, if someone tells you the devil's in the details, maybe it's the divinity that's in the details. Perhaps an inversion is what we're looking at, because this word was, if we look at it, it's the word hayah. And look what it literally means. It means it came to pass, something happened. Now I can say, wait a minute. If a great God created the heavens and the earth, I would expect them to create it perfect, without flaw. So if this is true, and it says so right in the text, that it became, and if you notice, and I won't show it to you, but if you go down here, you can see all of the places that word is used in the Hebrew Old Testament. And if we go down far enough, it'll tell us how many times that word is used in the Hebrew Old Testament. I misspoke. Did you know that this is the only time that it's ever translated anything other than became? So I'm suggesting to you, or presenting for your consideration, what if God, whatever you think God is, whomever you think God is, what if God did originally create everything perfect? And something happened, as that word showed us, and it became without form and void. Now that's a whole new thing to think about, isn't it? That's a whole new consideration for many of us. And it causes me to ask questions, and it causes me to question answers, because we have Elohim, which means gods, goddesses, plural, more than one. They created from out of whole creation. There was nothing there that they used. And they created, as I take a sip of hot coffee, they created both the heavens and the earth, right? The heavens and the earth. What did authors say? Some say the earth became void because there was a great reset. Some do, Arthur. And you're right, Her Majesty. That's a very excellent thought. So I would just present to you tonight, what if it was created perfectly, and then came this event which was, in effect, the first great reset. So what would this mean? It would mean that the earth was created perfect, and I'm going to show you a biblical text that claims that it was. And then something happened and made it not become perfect, and that could be the first reframe. And when they say that the earth is eretz, and that's what the Hebrew word means, is it possible that the original creation was deframed and in fact destroyed, or at least they want us to think it was destroyed, and what we're living in now is a reframed earth? And you'll want to watch the last D program that will precede this one on this channel, and it was called, what was it called, Her Majesty? It was called, my goodness, I can't remember what it was called, but we talked about frames. And I think you'll want to take a look at that. So, was the original earth perfect, excellent, great, and then something happened to make it chopped, and now we're living in a reframe where the entire earth, and some would argue the universe, has been reframed to mean that it is ownership only of Israel. And what would the implications of that be? Because Eretz means, in definition, the land of Israel. It's called Eretz Israel, the land of Jacob, which of course has become known as Israel. So could Genesis 1:1 and 1:2 show us the original frame of earth? Then a deframe? And I would suggest to you that Genesis 1:1, where the gods created, what if they created a perfect world? What if they created a paradisical existence? What if it was created to help us, to nurture us, to grow us, to allow us to reach our optimization and our full potential? What if Genesis 1:1 was reality? And that reality, that original reality, has been reframed. And now we live in something that is not the way it's supposed to be. That it was called 6 layers of simulation. That's the D program we did just before this one. And what if this reframe was in Genesis 1:2, where it became without form, it became void, darkness was on the face of the deep? What if that's the reframe? And we're actually living in a reframe that does not serve us. It only serves one species here on this earth. So the earth and the world was literally deframed. It was literally deframed. And we're going to go back to Isaiah, to the Bible Hub. I'm going to show you Isaiah 45:18, which, boy, gives you something to think about. Because let's look at let's look at Jeremiah 45:18. Let me go ahead and go to that for you. So if you're in Bible Hub and you want to follow along, all you have to do, was it Isaiah 45:18? Was it? I forgot. All you have to do is come down here in the drop down, and you can click, you can find Isaiah. You don't even have to know where it is. And then you can click on Isaiah chapter 45, right? And here we have it. Let's go back to King James, because everybody loves that. 45, and let's go down to 18. I think it was 18. Yes, it was 18. Look at this verse. It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Somebody says it's the Western paradigm. I don't know that it's the Western paradigm. I think it's become the dominant paradigm on all of Earth, because it didn't come from the West originally. It came from the East, didn't it? But 45:18, thus says the Lord. Can you get a better reference than the actual God of the heavens himself, allegedly? He formed the earth, and he made it. And then look at this. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. Well, if we do this again, click on the hyperlink, and we go to this word, he did not create it to be empty. What is that word? Tohu. Guess what Genesis 1:1 or 1:2 says when the earth was without form and void? It's this word, tohu. Tohu. I got you, bagel hate. Tohu. So we see the Bible, we see the word in the Bible in Genesis 1:2 in a state of tohu, chopped. But yet Isaiah 45:18, God himself, the Bible God says, I did not create it tohu. So if it wasn't created tohu and it became tohu, then something had to happen, didn't it? What was that happened? Well, guess what? We get another clue. Actually, we get another, what would you call it? What do they call that word? A disclosure. Anybody up for some disclosure tonight? We got some disclosure from the prophet Jeremiah. Jeremiah. What did he say? Well, let's take a look, shall we? Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 23. It was toe up from the flow up. And to me, God don't do that. And we just saw that this God even said he didn't do it. So Jeremiah, we're going to Jeremiah. I'll spare you the search. I'll just bring you back in when I get there. So Jeremiah chapter 4, and we're going to look at verse 23. And I think it's going to give you something to think about that perhaps you have not thought about before. And that's worth something on a Saturday night, isn't it? So Jeremiah, first he's complaining about his butt. Well, his bowels, actually. He says this, I beheld the earth. I checked out the earth, and lo, it was without form and void. The heavens, they had no light. What's Jeremiah looking at? He's obviously looking at the earth in Genesis 1:2. After something happened that made the earth chopped, toe up from the flow up. And as we continue to look at what Jeremiah said, it becomes more interesting. I beheld the mountains, they trembled. The hills moved lightly. And I beheld, and lo, there was no man. Well, if you believe the biblical writ, it is Sunday. It is. Did I mistake the day? But anyway, it's Sunday. That's why it's called Not Your Normal Sunday. But if man hadn't been created yet, then there would be no reason for Jeremiah to say, dude, there was no man. And then he says all of the birds had bounced. They were gone. We live right here on the edge of the state forest, and the birds are back. So the birds weren't created either, allegedly, from what we've been told in Genesis 1:2. And yet Jeremiah says, not only was there no men, there was no birds. And then he says the fruitful place. So this gives a lot of support to my suggestion that the earth was created perfect. Hello, Claudette. The earth was created fruitful, beautiful, and it became chopped. It became toe up from the flow up. But this one even gets me more. All the cities were broken down. What's going on, baby? It sure looks like we have been told the whole story. But what was this event? Perfect earth? Something happens? Chopped earth? Jeremiah sees it? And Jeremiah must have imagined that birds are fake. Birds aren't real. There are some birds, Smoochie, that aren't real. I guarantee it. There's some fake birds out there. There's some drone birds. Not all birds, but there's some drone birds. So, how did it happen? They were broken down at the presence of Yahweh. Hey, Jessica. And by his fierce anger. Now, wait a minute, Jeff. Are you trying to tell me that the earth was created perfectly? Well, Isaiah told you it was. And something happened and all the good stuff was wrecked. Well, Jeremiah told you it was. You don't have to believe me. I'm just some guy on YouTube. But if your Bible says it, you have something new to consider, don't you? And then Jeremiah told us that the dude that did the deed was the Lord. The Lord wrecked a perfect earth. This is Bible. This is the text. I'm not going to complete the loop for you. You complete the loop in your own mind. But I ask you, what the hell happened? This is a deframe, folks. The original earth was torn down. It was deframed. And now it's reframed. And what we're living in is a simulation overlay. See the last show, 6 Layers of Simulation. The Lord, it's still real, but there's been an overlaid reframe put upon us. And because we live in the West, most of us accept this reframe is real. What if it's not? The Lord broke it. He broke it. What do you think about that? Does that kind of fry your neurons a little bit? The earth and the world was literally deframed. Isaiah, the Lord in Isaiah 45 tells us it was perfect, tells us it was beautiful. Jeremiah says, yeah, but I saw it toe up from the flow up. And it was the Lord that did it. Was this the original deframe? Was this the original reset? And there's no discussion that it led directly to the world we live in today. And the world we live in today, it's like a Black Mirror episode. It is, isn't it? You calling me a dick? That's Philip K. Dick's work. We live today in a world with an Abrahamic frame overlay. It's not the original one. Genesis 1:1 shows us that there was an original, an organic earth. And Genesis 1:2 tells us it was deframed and then reframed into what we have today, which is nothing more than a fake overlay and a simulation. But let me repeat, there is a real, beautiful, and I would suggest divine earth. It still exists. It is real. But most of us have accepted the reframe, and we are living in a fake overlay and a simulation of Hebrew Abrahamic domination. What do you think? Because that's what's really important, is what do you think? Can I blow your mind here? I just discovered this. Can I blow your mind just a little bit? Can we dig into that word darkness a little bit? I have to show you in Bible Hub, or else you wouldn't believe me. You would not believe me. Genetically modified says the earth was rendered perfectly till the computer glitched. That's one interpretation. But I would suggest that even then it's like, boom. It's not what we've been told. Philby says, I think you're onto something here. The discussion on the simulation theory has been around for a while now, yes. But we are maybe the very first. I don't think you've heard this anywhere else. To dig into this and show you that, boom, as Claudette says, it's a construct that's become unhinged. It's obviously unworkable, but it gets even deeper. We're going to look at that word darkness, and I want to look at it in the original languages, and let me show you how that's done. We want to look up just the word darkness, right? So we can do it one of two ways. Let's do it the easy way. Let's go back to Genesis. That way you won't accuse me of any chicanery. I get accused of chicanery a lot. And I'm not above a little chicanery, but it's just fun chicanery, but this would be bad chicanery. So look at this. Look at this. Here we are, Genesis 1:1-1-2, right? So if we go to verse 2 and we go again to interlinear, it'll show us the words, the actual words. And the earth was without form and void, and Jeremiah said it wasn't. Or Isaiah said it wasn't. Jeremiah told us how it became. And darkness was upon the face of the earth. Chosek was upon the face of the earth. Darkness. What if it wasn't just like night and day darkness? What if it was darkness in a general term like this? The dark. Darkness. Misery. Ignorance. Sorrow. Wickedness. That is very descriptive of the world we live in, isn't it? Obscurity. That's not a word that you would associate with divinity. It's from the Hebrew chasak, right? To be dark as withholding light, or to just darken. And if there was a beautiful world, a divinity, sovereignty, and freedom, and it got turned into a world of slavery or domination by one single religious idea, that would be darkening it, wouldn't it? It would be made dark. It would darken. It would be dim, and it would be hidden, right? And it would be as if they were withholding light. Wow. Very, very interesting, isn't it? Very, very interesting, isn't it? It's so interesting when you begin to dig into this and you begin to look at this. You can see I do a lot of this stuff. So what actually happened? What actually happened? I don't know, but I think we have some things to think about, right? We have some things to think about. And let's go back real quick and look at another word here before we get any more deeper. Let's go back. These are just my notes. Let's go back and let's look at this Genesis 1:1 again. 1:2. Darkness. What kind of darkness was it? Darkness was over the face. What's the face? Darkness. Look at this. All. That's interesting. So darkness was upon what? Upon the face. The face of what? The face of the earth. Well, what's the face of the earth? Its face, its presence, its countenance. It was over what was before. Ooh. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Our faces have been darkened. That's very, very interesting. So has our faces been darkened? And what's the deep here? The deep is Tihom. Many people say it's the same word as Tiamat. It became an abyss. Did the great God create an abyss? No, he did not. Did he create confusion, empty place without form, nothing vain, vanity, waste? No, even Jeremiah said no. Wow, this begins to be very, very interesting to me. And it screams out reset. It screams out deframe to me. But yet, in the midst of all of this, the Spirit, the Ruach, the Spirit, the wind, and the breath of the divine, it says the Spirit of God. And again, that word is not the word generally associated with the Bible God. It's Elohim, which is in my Bible Hub always wants to glitch when we get into some deep stuff. I don't know why, but it's very interesting that it always wants to glitch when we get into the deep waters, right? It always wants to glitch. But yet, even in this difficult realization potentially for us, the Spirit of God, Elohim, the gods, the divine judges, the beings, still hovered over the face of the waters. Just because it was deframed and reframed doesn't mean that the creators of the original frame are not still there and not still accessible to us. Because the Spirit of God was hovering. What does that mean, hovering? It was hovering. It was fluttering. That means it's still here. And it can still move and it can still shake. And if you want to reframe your world, the mechanization for reframing it still exists. All you have to do is take advantage of it. And it was hovering over again the face of the waters. And what are the waters? Well, waters, floods, pools, watering, even semen. So the seeds of life are still here. The seeds of life are still available. There's still a water or a spring that we can draw upon, elderberry, if and when we want to. So all hope is not lost until you give up hope. You are not defeated until you quit. And I would encourage none of you heroes to quit. Keep going. Keep striving. Because the Spirit of divinity is still hovering. It's still here. It's still accessible to each and every one of us. And that should bring some hope, I would think. And then, let's get back here into Genesis. I want to show you something. This is where I had never really taken it this deep before. And I feel kind of silly for not taking it this deep before. But just to recap, the earth was created perfectly, according to Isaiah. It became a wreck, according to Jeremiah, because the God of the Bible, Yahweh, actually says he blew fire through his nostrils. That makes him dragon-like to some. But even in the midst of that, the Spirit of God was still there. And the Spirit of God, the gods, the Spirit of divinity, let's say that, was saying then and is still saying now to you, to everyone. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. Dagger's right. It's still saying to us, what's it saying to us? Let there be. Let it become. Let it come to pass. Let it exist. Let it happen. As bad as everything is, true divinity is still saying, let it become. It's like John Lennon, let it be. Whoops. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Oh, let it be. Or was that Paul? Anyway. And it can still happen. What can still happen? Mud floods. This is the original mud flood, as Greenleaf says. Let it be what? Let there be light. Let there be illumination. Even in the midst of the worst darkness, we can reach out to divinity and find illumination. No matter how dark it is, we can always look to divinity, and some would suggest that we have that within us, and I'm amongst them. We can look for a brighter day, a clearer day. We can look for some lightning, some morning, some sun. So even though it's dark, I would say, and the gods would say, let there be light. And when you, with that spark of divinity in you, says, I don't care what the world is experiencing, I am going to say, let it come to pass, let it exist, let it happen. Then even in the midst of the most existential of darknesses, let there be light. Let there be illumination. Let there be happiness. I always say the world's going to be better than it's ever been, even sooner than we can imagine. And people say, Jeff, are you crazy? No. This would suggest that I'm not crazy. Well, at least not about this. I hope I'm giving you some things to think about, some things to consider. And divinity saw 7,200. Divinity always sees, despite how bad things are, divinity can always see a transformation. And when divinity gets causative or takes action, big things can happen. Because God saw that there was some light. And if you have the spark of divinity, then you can say in the midst of this darkness, let there be light. And when you say, let there be light in your life and in those around you, guess what? That light will appear and it will be good. It will be good. Look at this. Good, pleasant, agreeable, beneficial, beautiful, best, better, bountiful, cheerful, at ease, fair, favor, fine, glad, goodly, gracious, joyful, kindly, loving, merry, pleasant, precious, prosperity, ready, sweet, welfare, well-favored. Jeff, how can you be so optimistic in a time of such upheaval? Because the spark of divinity in me says, boom, I don't see the dark. I don't see the reframe. I'm not living in the reframe. I have fought my way back to I've deframed myself from the reframe and gone back to the original frame that is this. How do you do it? Somebody said earlier, how in the hell can you do it? It's so terrible. It's the hero's journey. You can do it and only you can do it. And when you do, it's good. It's good. And guess what happens when you decide that it's going to be good and that it is good even when it looks bad? Well, what you're going to get is a division. The gods say that if you go this way, you're going to be separated, you're going to be separate, you're going to be set apart. Because everybody knows that Genesis 1:1 and 1:2 just means the God of Israel who controls this paradigm did it the way he wanted to do it. But if you want to separate yourself, if you want to get set apart, you can say, with the spark of divinity in you, you can say that's okay. I realize there's going to be a separation. I realize there's going to be an interval. I realize there's going to be a space between me as a person that is broken out of the reframe and the people that are still in the reframe. Those that are in light are always going to be different from those that are in the dark. But I'm here tonight to suggest to you that you don't have to live in dark. Even when you're in dark, you don't have to live in dark. I want to suggest to you that you can reframe out of darkness and back into light. You can deframe out of the reframe and go back to the original frame. It's within your power. It just becomes a question of will, intention, determination. Are you a hero or are you content to live within a reframe? Do you want the original, beautiful, perfect earth? Or do you want to live in the reframe, overlay, simulation? It's up to you. But I want to tell you here tonight at 7:52 p.m. Central Time on March 22nd, 2026, that light is available to you if you choose to live in it. But you're going to suffer some division because when you step out of the frame, when you begin to deframe yourself, you're going to get some opposition. Yes, flip that light switch back on. That goes back to our other 6 layers of simulation. Look at it. Immediately preceding this video on this channel. There will be a difference between you and the people that have chosen to live in the reframe. It just depends upon how bad you want it. Do you want enlightenment or do you want alignment? Do you want enlightenment or do you want alignment? You can either align with the dominant paradigm, the reframe, or you can fight your way to enlightenment. Let me give you a little more, because this is, again, I didn't know this a week ago. And I know that it doesn't always look like it, but I spent probably 8 to 10 hours on this. And the gods, the divine, let's just say the divine, the Elohim, calls, and what was the world created by? Speech, right? So no matter how dark your world is, you can call, you can say, I'm going to live in light. I'm going to live in light. And you can say, I'm going to live in day. What's day? I'm going to live in day. I'm going to live in today's. I'm going to live today in light. It can be just a day, but it can always be an age. It can be always. It can be continually. You can live in light continually, cousins. But it's work daily. You have to get up and rebirth and stay strong every single day. The hero's journey, it's not really a destination. It is a journey. They don't call it the hero's destination. There's a reason. You can live in this age of light always and continually, but you got to build it. You got to reaffirm it in your life every single day. Thank you, Carmen. She says this is great stuff. We're going to go through this a little bit more. He called the day light, and the darkness isn't going to go away. It's always going to be there. And what did he call the darkness? He called it night. What is night? What is night? It's a twist. It's a D-frame. It's adversity. It's like it's midnight. It's opposed to day. It's opposed to light. See? It's opposed to light. That's why there's a separation. That's why there's a separation. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I define easy as something that you can do. And today, then, as today, exists both light and darkness. They both exist simultaneously. The real and the false, the original and the reframe, they exist. There's still going to be evening, which is kind of like you people that are in between, right? Jeff, I never heard this before. Well, maybe you've come from darkness into twilight. And that's the beautiful thing. You don't have to just flip a switch. You can have some twilight. You can have some evening. You can have some night. And it comes from this word, which means what was turned to gloom, you can now turn into joy and beauty and light. And it's within your power to do so. It's within your power to do so. You can live in evening or you can live in morning. What's morning? Not the morning where you're sad, but the morning of early morning, morrow. And you can live this way every morning. You can live in midnight or you can live in dawn. It's up to you. What do you want? What are you ready to work for? What are you ready to fight for? You might have to be single. You might have to be alone. But there's more of you than just one. We're proving it here tonight. There is unity. We can be together. We can be united. But sometimes it feels like you're alone. It feels like you're a cad. Feels like you're alone when you're really a cad, because you can unify with other people that have seen the same beautiful thing take place. It's up to you. Do I want to go to verse 6? I can't remember. What's verse 6 say? Yeah. And divinity said, let there be a firmament. Now, I don't want to get into the flat earth, but what is a firmament? What's visible to you? What do you see? What do you have as an expanse that your perception sees? What expanse do you live in? Do you live in an expanse of darkness? Because whatever you believe, it's going to spread out. Whatever you believe, you're going to have to do some work at it. You're going to have to work at it. This means to work at with a hammer. You're going to have to stamp it. You're going to have to stretch yourself if you want to deframe. But the good news is once you start, it begins to spread. And you find people and you come into unity. And you're going to have some passion to pound the dominant paradigm of the earth. You're going to have some passion and some work to expand yourself. To get out of what? To get out of the overlay, the overlay, the overlay, the overlay. I'm telling you, is it an overlay? Has there been something spread over? Has something been beaten into you? Have you been hammered with a certain mindset or frame? I think many of you may have. Maybe it's only me that's been subject to this hammering and this pounding. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But the firmament basically means everything you see. What's your firmament? And it's interesting that firmament has become a great word of division when it should be a word of unity. What is the firmament? Well, unfortunately, today as we sit here, the word firmament has become the core of dogmatic proselytization. And the people that believe in firmament are like permanently entrenched in this reframe. This Abrahamic overlay. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to live? And it spreads. We're living in this world, this post-Abrahamic deframe and reframe, and it exists to spread itself. Some would say it's like a virus, a parasite. It lives and moves and has its being on the energy of people that accept it. I guess the question becomes, what do you want to accept? What are you willing to accept? What are you willing to accept? I think there's something here in verse 8 I want to look at too. Let me take a quick look and I'll bring you back. I'll bring you back. What are you thinking tonight? Is this giving you something to think about? It says that divinity calls the firmament sky. Calls it sky. Let me show you. It calls the firmament heaven, heavens, highest heavens, heavenly heaven, the very highest, like the Most High themselves. It gets down to what you see. What do you see? What do you want to be your highest? What's on your horizon? Is the sun rising or is it setting in your world? Only you No. But the good news is only you get to decide. And then look at this last thing. This is so interesting to me. Let me show you. Let me show you. And God, divinity, right? Divinity, called, spoke, named. God, divinity, called it out. You can call it out in your life. He called out day, right? And that was the second day. The second, meaning the second after the first, right? It was the second morning. It was the second day. What if that speaks to the fact that it was made perfect, it was deframed, we've been reframed into an Abrahamic domination, and what if we decide to deframe from the Abrahamic domination and go back to the original? Is that our second day? Coming back to who we are? Coming back to the beautiful world that was? That's an interesting thought, isn't it? Is the second day the reframe into reality after the deframe from simulation? What do you think? What do you think? We don't have to accept the deframe and the reframe. And when you think about it, we're almost better for knowing that and discovering that the perfect world was, we've been deframed out of the perfect world. We've been reframed into a simulation that has 6 layers. Watch last video. But when we step out of the simulation and back into the reality, we're actually stronger. We're actually better. After deframing and reframing of our own effort, we're better. We're better. That should give you some hope. And what is better? I would suggest to you that better is encapsulated in verse 9. Let's look at verse 9 real quickly here. Let's look at verse 9. And divinity says, let's be gathered together. Let's wait, let's look for, let's hope, let's expect the world to be better than it's ever been. Even sooner than we can imagine, because we've rediscovered our divinity. We've rediscovered our sovereignty. We've rediscovered our freedom. And because of that, we're waiting, looking for, hoping, we're expecting, by binding together, by patiently tarrying, waiting, and working, we're expecting what? We're expecting the waters to be gathered together again. Waters is sometimes spoken of as people. The waters that are under, the waters that are under the heavens, that's where we live, right? We're expecting this to get better, and we're expecting something to appear. What are we expecting to appear? We're expecting to see, and once we begin to see, we will see. We're expecting some dry land. We're expecting some dry ground, and if you think that you're being flooded and you're going under, then dry ground is what you're looking for, isn't it? There's some dry ground out there for you, a place to climb up onto. And as soon as you decide It will be so. What is so? It'll be sure. If it can be, this crazy world can be set upright, even though it's been turned upside down. We can fix it if we've got the guts, if we've got the tenacity. We can make it better than it's ever been before. We can make it right. That word also carries the meaning of right. We can make it veritable and true. It can be a place of truth and not deception. It also means it can be a place of honesty and not deception. Pretty amazing, isn't it, when you begin to break down what these words actually mean? And that's verse 9. And didn't some smart guy named Tesla talk about if we just understood the reality of the number 9? Kind of amazing, isn't it? And the culmination of the whole thing, the sum of the matter, as some guy named Solomon once said, what if verse 10 is the summation of the whole thing? What's it say? Thank you, Philby. Divine says it's good, and it was good. Divinity says, when everybody says it's bad, that it's good. This world is terrible, it's rotten, it's horrible, and the simulation in which we're living is. But I'm telling you, underneath that simulation, there's a world that's all of this. And it's waiting for you if you have the tenacity. It's beautiful. It's the best. It's better. It's bountiful. It's cheerful. It's at ease. It has favor. It's fine. It's glad. It's good. It's gracious. It's joyful. It's kind. There's prosperity. And it's waiting for you if you're willing to step out of the D frame. Out of the D frame. If you deframe yourself out of the D frame, it was cold, then you can step back into the reality. And it's like I hear people say, oh, I just want to leave this world. Cynthia says, I want to get out of this earth. I don't belong here. She's right. She doesn't belong in this simulation. She doesn't belong in this overlay. She belongs in that perfect world that was first made. Let me show you something that's very interesting to me. I promise this is the last thing I'll show you. And it goes to the New Testament, because I know we got some people, oh, that's all Old Testament. Yeah, but you love the Old Testament. Let me go for a minute into Matthew. Let me pull it up and I'll show you. Matthew 26. Sometimes I get working so hard and I get the wrong verse. I want to make sure I got the right verse. Matthew 26, verse 11. And I'm just thinking that's 8, 9, 10. 10 is the number of completion. So does Matthew 26, 11 show us the completion? Where am I going with this? Let me look at it. Let me look at it. It's the Jesus character speaking. Oh, I see where I'm going with this. This is good. It's Matthew 26:11. And there's a reason why these chapters and these verses are numbered, because they're big on their numerology, the writers of this stuff. So 2 plus 6 equals 8, plus 1 equals 9, plus 1 equals 10. So 2611, I can't highlight it. 2611 is 10. It's completion. What if this is the completion, yet Kylie feels Cynthia's pain? Well, the Jesus character said, you'll always have the poor with you. Well, what's the poor? The poor is the poor, the destitute, the beggars. Any of you feel that way? And if you don't feel that way, do you know somebody? Do you see somebody? You must not have been on Facebook or Twitter if you don't see somebody that's poor, that's destitute, that's a beggar. Do you see anybody that feels like they're worthless? Do you see anybody crouching in fear? Maybe it's you. Do you see anybody distressed? Do you see anybody dependent upon charity because they're broke? So broke they can't even afford to pay attention? Have you ever felt like a beggar? Have you ever felt poor? You ever felt like you had to reach up to touch bottom? In this reframe, in this simulation, you will always have people, not only financially, but spiritually, morally, emotionally, broken. You'll always have them with you. And one of the chief authors of this simulation, the Jesus character, says you will always have the poor with you. And that's the completion of their simulation. But you don't have to play in that simulation. You can move to another place. And you saw what it was. Beautiful, wonderful, all of that. So it seems like there's a pretty good dichotomy. Seems like there's a choice that we have to make. We can make a choice. And this just came to me. I'm going to open the phones. This just came to me. Colleen sent me something. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Go for a little more nicotine. It's a hell of a drug if you use it right. What do I want to go to? I'm going to go to my Gmail. Colleen sent this to me. And it's pretty amazing. She sends me a lot of things, so I got to find the right one. Some words of Donald Trump. Where is that at, Colleen? Donald Trump. Look at this. Donald Trump said this. President Donald Trump said this. Well, he didn't say this, but watch what he said. The Bible, 1 Thessalonians 5:3, and I can tell that Colleen was on Bible Hub because this is kind of this Berean Standard Bible is the most literal. That's the default on Bible Hub. While people are saying peace and security, destruction will come upon them suddenly, and they will not escape. Who won't escape? The people that are saying peace and security are going to be destroyed. They will not escape. Colleen says, well, Trump said almost these exact same words as Rooney jumps back up on the screen here. Thanks, Rooney. You got to make things difficult for me, don't you? Can you at least lay down? Thank you, sir. What did Trump say? Remember, when they're saying peace and safety, they're going to come some destruction. Is the simulation about to be destroyed? Donald Trump. The U.S. I can never do a good Trump impersonation, so I won't even try. My Bill Clinton's spot on, baby, but my Trump, not so good. Countries, we will coordinate with these countries so everything goes quickly, smoothly, and well. Beautiful. This should have always been a team effort. Now it will be. It will bring the world towards harmony, security, and everlasting peace. Harmony, security, everlasting peace. Is he saying peace and security? Sure sounds like it. How many of you are parents? How many of you are mothers? You know that those pains in pregnancy, they're not fun. I've watched it 3 times, and that was 3 times too many. They come out looking like aliens. There's blood, there's gook, and man, it's just, whoo. But then you get a beautiful baby out of it. I just saw 2 of my children, saw 2 of my grandchildren. It's a beautiful thing. There's nothing better. You know, I've been on shark dives, and I've been on 5 continents. I've stayed in the beautiful places. And this 10 days I spent in Williamsburg, Virginia, it's the best trip I ever had. So Trump's saying peace and security. I mean, harmony, which means peace, security, and everlasting peace. So if the simulation is going to be destroyed, there's going to be some pain involved, right? But what comes out on the other side? That beautiful new creation, same as the first creation, and boom. It's within our grasp. It's within your grasp. Oh, Alden, have you ever been in there, man? Oh, they made me cut the cord 3 times. I almost puked. But I guess what I want you to take home with you. Sorry, you got to watch me do this. Nicotine lozenge. I got the lozenge. I'm going to the Zen. I'm going to go to the Zen. I like the Zen better. It just sits there and, you know. Why? Well, I'm back on the keto hardcore. I'm losing weight. And when I have Zen, I don't have donuts and pizza and cupcakes. And I got an Italian wife. She's always cooking something great. Like the other day, I came home from Virginia. I'm like 6 weeks into keto. I'm doing great. Minding my own business, looking for a beef stick in the fridge or a boiled egg or something. And what do I see? But these beautiful lemon bars that Cynthia made. Beautiful lemon bars. My favorite. I'll just take 1 bite of a lemon bar. That's not that bad. I took 1 bite. Then about an hour later, I took another bite. And long story short, she'd also made some sugar cookies. So before I knew it, I had the lemon bar and 3 sugar cookies. So much for my keto, right? That's when I decided to take some drastic actions, and that's part of it. Those lemon bars were freaking the best. My favorite dessert of all time. So anyway, she saw the bite. Well, you didn't see it long, did you? Because it was gone. I've always said that the world's going to be better than it's ever been, sooner than even we can imagine. But I've also said the last battalion will be ours. And you only have battalions when you have a fight. We're going to have to fight for it. You'll have to fight for it in your life. And we'll have to come together and fight for it together. But I think that beautiful world of Genesis 1:1. I know, Kylie. I think that beautiful world of Genesis 1:1 is worth fighting for. But I'll get Cynthia's back. She also made this delicious keto dessert. It's got some keto cookies down in plain vanilla yogurt. Put a couple, maybe 3 packs of stevia in there. You mix up the yogurt. You stick the cookies down in there. The hard part is you leave them until overnight. The next day you get your spoon and almost no carbs, and it's delicioso. See, I worked the Italian thing back in. So there you go. What do you think? Is it possible that Genesis 1 and 2 show us the original reset, the deframe, the reframe? And which world do you want to live in? It's up to you. Which world do you want to live in? It's up to you. You decide. I'm going to see, now that Rooney jumped off the thing, I'm going to see if I can call up Google Voice. Google Voice. Boom, there it is. So I don't know if anybody wants to do this or not, but we put it here. We are living in exciting times. Yes, Kylie, I'm going to do that right now. You read my mind. 913-228-2586. That's the phone number. I'm going to ask you, though, to listen to a song for a couple of minutes. I'm going to go get some coffee. Don't call in now. Jim's already calling. Don't call in now. Give me a second. I'm going to grab a coffee, and then we'll be right back. But until then, let's listen to Super G's Who Stands With Me Again. Just long enough for me to go fill up this coffee, put some heavy cream in it, and then we'll take some calls. Let's see if this works.
Faced the beast, I felt its claws, I've seen its feast. It whispers lies, it feeds on fear, but I stand strong, the path is clear. The shadows crawl, the weak may fall, deception spreads to choke us all. I won't be fooled, I won't comply, I raise my voice, I will not die. Rise from the ashes, break every chain. Truth is our weapon, fury our flame. The night may scream, but we are stronger than what we've seen. I've beaten the base, I face the night. Now who stands with me to claim the fight? No more lies, no more deceit. We rise as one, our hearts won't retreat. The beast may roar, it may claw, it may bite, it prowls the dark, it shuns the light. But we are fire, we are steel, we take our fate, we will not kneel. Eyes open wide, hearts burning bright, we move as one through endless night. The lies may try to pull us down, but we are kings and queens uncrowned. Rise from the ashes, break every chain. Truth.
I'm back. Here we go. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. What's on your mind?
Hey, brother, your silence coming from this side.
Yeah, I got it. We're good now.
You're mute. Okay. I was going to tell you that listen to what you've been saying. It brings a lot of my thoughts together. I want you to think about. Oh, let me turn your sound off. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Um,
Hey, man, I
okay.
got your video, too. That was impressive, by the way. Encouraging.
Thank you. I want you to look at the earth. Talk about what you're talking about. The cut. The expression you used was tahu.
Right.
The chop. Okay, now I'm stepping off the side of this. All living creatures, I would say 0.0000%, all have brown or black eyes, including people, with the animals, with all the animals. All right. So for me, all the brown eyes, dark hairs, dark skins, all came from this earth. Now, I think that our people, Caucasian, somehow seep into this world, which brought, let me say, before this happened, in the Bible, it said that all animals and creatures all got along. So they didn't kill each other. People didn't kill the animals because they didn't need to at that point, until something came in which supposedly ate the apple, caused chaos. Our world that we live in now is chaos. That is matter. Before, it didn't need matter. You didn't have to have life and death, but you needed it for things to grow. So, and of course, in my opinion, the Caucasians are not of this earth.
I agree.
And that's why it's so important for people to hold to their own people, because we're on a different energy level. Now, I'm going to say this. There is not one black, Asian, dark skins, white skins. None of them are any better than the other, because they're different in a different area. They can do things that a white won't do as well, and vice versa. So, in my opinion, there is at least 4 gods involved.
Wow.
White people have their own god. Your yellow people, your Asians, have their own god. Your browns have their own god, and your dark skins have their own god. So when you start talking about my God is this name and this name, they're avatars that people have to put because they don't know how to relate to a God without a person. So they have to use that in order for them to feel connected as a part of it. So what I'm getting at is, as long as you stay within your energy level, like for my people, like you and maybe myself, we see things deeper and further in our area for our God, not for the yellow people or the other peoples, but they have their own God that gives them the same powers to do more for them if they hold to it.
Yes.
So it's for them to keep their powers within each other. Now, if I mix one with another, now they have to go to a beginner energy.
Ooh, yeah.
And they have to learn how to develop through that energy of that particular God. You can call any God you want to call him, but that God is that God and doesn't mean anything about that name. It's just that energy. And it feeds upon you and gives you the growth you need. That's why in each group, they all have a shaman, because they're able to pull those genetics from the beginning. And it's easier for them to reach, be able to talk to the people below them or with them. So I have a lot more I could say, but I don't want to take over the show.
And Jim,
But,
let me suggest to you that this gives it such a depth, because when we mix with other people, you've hit it so profoundly, we have to go back to square one. And that's why I've always said, even though my friends on GTV don't like me to say it, but we need to stick within our own so we can each optimize ourselves. The black race can optimize, the brown, the red, the yellow can optimize, the white can optimize, and only when each separate individual race is optimized can we be optimized as a collective humanity, and then we can get back to that original world where we didn't need physical sustenance, that we get it just straight from the energetic offerings of our gods. Man, you have opened a new, you have got to the very core of it. It's not just because we're polluting our race, but we're actually putting ourselves back at square one as far as becoming optimized.
And that's why they're trying so hard to push us into
Yes.
the opposite races. Because they want to slow and retard you.
And Galatians 3:28 says, don't stay with your own people, mix with everybody, because then you have to restart in their reframe instead of being in the original frame where we all individually get better. And I want to share this with you because my granddaughter had gone to a school last year where it was all black people and her, and she got out of that and went to a school now that's, mainly filled with people like her. And she said to me, she said, Grandpa, what would happen? She goes, I was in this school and I noticed that not anybody was doing very good, but now I'm in this school with white people and we're all doing good. And what would happen if we all just paid attention to our own selves? Wouldn't that be better? And I'm like, man, girl, you're getting deep. So
telling the truth. I mean,
that's the truth.
When I have been at parties, and when you had Hispanic, those from Brazil, and English or Americans, anytime we all gathered at a house for a party, each group singled themselves off away from the others.
Right.
Automatically.
Well, think of the watering hole in Africa. The animals are there, but the lions ain't hanging out with the tigers, ain't hanging out with the antelopes, ain't hanging out with the elephants.
Right.
Man, you brought some deep water like you always do, my friend. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you so much for letting me talk on the phone. I have so much I have to say, but I have no one to talk to about it.
Well, you can always call up here. You're welcome. You're one of our best callers. I appreciate it. Man, that's good stuff. And it's not about hating other people. It's about, and it's not just the mixing of our races, making our races less pure, but it's a spiritual restart. Why do you want to go back to kindergarten when you're at PhD level? It almost seems like a blatant plan to thwart the optimization of the races. I've always said it, if the blacks would quit fighting the whites and the whites would quit fighting the blacks and the Hispanics, if we'd all quit fighting each other and just get together, we could run these invaders out. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. What's on your mind, sir?
Oh, wow, that was fast.
Hey, I try to be quick.
Wow. Anyway, what Jim was saying, all I can add to that, I don't know if this will be helpful or interesting, perhaps it will be, but in the world of livestock, it is a common and accepted practice to actually mix breeds. So just hear me out, let me finish.
Okay.
So for example, you will take a purebred Hereford cow and breed that to a purebred Angus bull, and then you have, half Hereford, half Angus, what we call baldies up here in cowboy country. I'm just a stupid cowboy. So. But now, if those purebred breeds get completely mixed to the point to where there are no purebreds anymore, then what?
Ooh.
We don't have that anymore.
So what would happen, Steve, in a animal husbandry scenario if there was no more purebreds?
Oh, it'd just be a mess, man. I mean, you wouldn't have even the people that want to actually do the mixing, which I know that we're supposed to be against.
Right.
But now our argument is now basically against them. They basically have to see it our way. If it continues to be mixed up and mixed up and mixed up, you no longer have purebreds to where you can guarantee, okay, this here is a baldy cow, half Angus, half Hereford. There will be no such thing anymore.
And you know what, Steve? Jim touched on this. Like if you have a party and the blacks come and the Hispanics come and the reds come and the whites come, it's a beautiful thing when they can all bring their own uniqueness and we can enjoy each other's uniqueness. But that doesn't mean that we have to live and mix together. We all optimize ourselves, and then we get to enjoy the greatness, the optimization of each individual human race.
Yep. Anyhow, well, I hope that was a little bit helpful.
That was great because you brought it down to reality, the animal husbandry. And as much as we like to argue, I mean, we are essentially, part of nature. We are part animals, and they're trying to breed us out of existence because then there's no more purebreds, and there'd only be one purebred because these people that seem to want us all to mix don't mix themselves. So it's almost like it's a plan, Steve.
Yeah, and I do not see, a completely mixed up mess like that. I think it's just going to continue to weaken and weaken and weaken. So
it's
anyway,
Shakespeare, King Richard, I can't remember which one it was. He said, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
True.
So they're trying to make all of us blind so these people with one eye can rule the rest of us. Man, this is some good stuff. I need to just quit talking myself and just open the phones every night and let you guys roll. You're fantastic.
For sure. We'll do it again.
Thank you, brother. And Her Majesty, another nail. She says, now white people have sickle cell. It's almost like it's a plan. And I know my friends over at GTV don't like to hear this, but you know what? We don't have to hate. Let each race, and she said, what happened? My granddaughter said, what would happen if we just lived separately? Couldn't we all get better by being around our own people? She's 12. She's 12. And she's got it. Carmen says, my daddy always said black is beautiful, but white is right. That was his way of telling us girls to stay with our own kind. Black is beautiful if you're black. White is right if you're white. Just because you love your race don't mean you got to hate anybody else. And it weakens you when you hate everybody else, in my opinion. And there was a smart guy that we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube, but he said, our racial efforts cannot be based on hate. They have to be based on enlightenment. He might have had something going on. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. What's on your mind?
Hey, Jeff, it's Jessica.
Jessica, what's up?
Not much. So I had a quick thing, totally off topic, but I've been wanting to share this.
Please.
When I was little, we were at a Baptist church, and so when listening to you, it just kind of full circle.
Yeah.
In kids' church, they pulled a couple of us out to teach us how to speak in tongues. And even as a kid, I'm like, I thought this was like a supernatural natural occurrence that kind of overwhelms you and overcomes you. Why are you teaching us this?
Exactly. You hit it on the nail.
I was little thinking, what in the world? This doesn't make sense. And then when I found you and listened to you, and then it just kind of came full circle to be like, oh, it's all just a script.
It's all a script. It's almost like they planned it, isn't it?
It is. It was amazing. So I just wanted to share that, and I appreciate you and everybody, and have a good night.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. From the chat room, hybrids live longer than purebreds. In this reframe, in this overlay, that's true. But if you wanted to be in charge of a simulation, you'd want to have things that live longer because then you can get more work out of them. But I'm convinced that if each race can optimize itself, let me just throw this out here for you to consider, then we would get out of this reframe. I don't know about you, but I'm not terribly interested in perpetuating this reframe. It's chopped. I love that word. It's chopped. I want to get each race optimized so we can get the hell, because once you're optimized, I don't care if you're, because guess what? This dominant paradigm doesn't serve the black, the red, the yellow, black, red, yellow, brown, or the white. We got to get the hell out of this, man. And the only way we do it is by optimizing ourselves, optimizing our individual races, doing what we can to get the hell out of the other races' way so they can optimize themselves. And then humanity's optimized, and this simulation will fall under its own weight. They can have their hybrids, because we're not trying to perpetuate this simulation. We're trying to perpetuate the original Genesis 1:1 Earth. In my opinion. Yeah, Jameis says, the black people out there, they was kings, they was everything. I don't really mind that so much. It's obviously absurd. And you got to admit, the black Hebrew Israelites, they got the best outfits. The white Hebrew Israelites, they need to step up their threads. They need to step up their game. They ain't got no... Although the ortho boys, they got some outfits going on too. I'm not trying to perpetuate this, man. I'm seeing it, Jama. I see you. I'm not trying to perpetuate this simulation. I want to get back to the original. And I was going to say to Jim, Deuteronomy 32 clearly spells it out. The Most High said, okay. This is exactly what Jim said. Deuteronomy 32 says, okay, you black people, here's your God. You red people, here's your God. You brown people, here's your God. You yellow people, here's your God. You white people, here's your God. And he also said, y'all got some land. But these Hebrew people, I'm just saying what the Bible says. He says, you got a God too, but you ain't got no land. Why don't they got any land? Could it be that they're the ones that caused that deframe? Messed it all up? I'm just saying. Cultural Marxism has done a number on Americans. And there's an old saying, when America sneezes, the world catches cold. And that goes to Jim's point. I believe that, here's what I believe. I'll throw it out there. The original earth, Genesis 1:1, the gods created it, created people. And I think Jim may have something. Cynthia has brown eyes too. Sorry, nicotine. Isn't that funny? Cigarettes make you cough, so it is just straight nicotine. The original gods created the earth originally with people that were born here on earth, that are earthlings. Jim says the brown-eyed people. I mean, there's something to that maybe. And then the blue-eyed people, like me, we saw what they were. And then the Hebrews, the people from the other side, those from beyond, came in and started enslaving the original earthlings. And then we, I know it gets kind of cosmic, we, as we'll just say Caucasians, stay safe on YouTube, we came in to run the invaders out and let people, it was like the prime directive, let people develop according to their own trajectory. And there's been this fight ever since, and then they convinced us, my people, that we should quit being our people and just join in with everybody else. And look around, what has it produced? Nothing good. Phone line is still open. The phone number is 913-228-2586. 913-228-2586. If you have something to say, you don't have to agree. You just can't be disagreeable. Just be polite and interesting. And we love to hear what you have to say. Brian, I hear you, brother, but I think you're arguing for the perpetuation of the simulation, not the original. That's my response to you, and I like the way that you're thinking. You're exactly right, Auden. You're exactly right. She said that, and Cynthia says this all the time, we got to realize that the whites are the smallest race of people on the earth. And yet, they're all after us. Why? I think we're trying to bring it back to the original. And the people that are in charge of simulation, they don't like us very much. They just don't like us. They don't like us. 913-228-2586. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. Not Christian, but kind of asking questions to allow you to think, could Christianity maybe possibly be a control system? It's up to you. I won't tell you what to think. I'll bring you to water. Let you decide if you want to drink. I'll bring you some truth. Let you decide if you want to think. Because as much as it pains my preacher ego to say it, even if you changed your life because of something I said, that's not good enough, and it probably won't last. That's indoctrination. And even if you're indoctrinated into something good, you're still indoctrinated. You got to be enlightened. Enlightened. And that only comes from you. At best, Her Majesty informs us, and she's right. I looked it up. I didn't want her to be right, but she's right. And Steve, look what I got. It's always right by my side. I love showing that to people. They're like, whoa. Whoa. Literally, it's right in my front pocket. It's just a pocket knife, folks. I mean, come on. That's just a pocket knife. It's a knife. It fits in my pocket. It's a pocket knife. Whites are only, at most, 16% of the global population. And nothing against people with brown eyes. And I think we did this a little bit. Claudette says, live in your own light. We talked about this a while back. I think there's the Earth people. And if you're from Earth, my people came here to help you. There's the Earth people. There's my people, and there's the people from the other side, the people from beyond. Steve says awesomeness continues. Absolutely. Well, what a show, huh? Brown hair, strawberry blonde hair. She's a Sicilian. Her Majesty. A good-looking Sicilian. So, folks, there you go. I know it's been a good, deep program if Her Majesty's still listening. There's no doubt about it. Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and close the phone lines. Whoops, we got one more coming in. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Wrap us up.
Okay, I had something to say about the fellow that spoke right after me.
Okay.
Which I understand what he said. And I raised horses and cows, too, at one time. But all of the tribes of the peoples, well, take your Asians, they did not just keep it all within that tiny group of particular people. They always had to go to a tribe across a little ways to remix the bloods with them. They still kept them in the same energies, but gave them strength through the other tribes of the same energies.
Ah.
The white people did the same thing. They went into other groups of whites and took over those tribes and bred with those women. That's why it's important for them to breed with these women to bring in the stronger of their race. That's why the mixing came in important for the other tribes, not with the same particular tribe, or they'd be deformed.
Gotcha.
All right, that's all I need to say on that one.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, I am going to close the phone lines now. Phone lines are closed. That was good stuff. That was fun stuff. And I think it was some good stuff. I'll be back on Wednesday. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about on Wednesday, but I'm going to do my best. And whether you're red, yellow, black, or white, optimize yourselves, and we got some good stuff coming. It's called retribution. We'll see you next time. We'll open up the phone lines again. So glad you were here tonight.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.